This view from Albion Towers overlooks the site of the former Cross Lane Market, Albion Way and Cross Lane. This is now a green space which has lain empty since the market closed in 1970 and the Albion High School which closed in the 1980s. Thousands of families still live here in the high-rise blocks. The orchard blocks directly in front of us are due for demolition shortly as part of a multi-million-pound house building project in Pendleton. The future of the blocks on the right are also uncertain. This area is undergoing huge changes, perhaps to bring it back to its former glory. People born after 1980 may not understand how much a vibrant, beating heart of Salford that this area once was, with Cross Lane Market drawing in hundreds of people from all areas of Salford. This market provided everything one could need for daily life: fish, meat, clothing, toys, books, crockery, fruit and veg, you name it, the market had it. Its loss is even more keenly felt now, given the fact that the city of Salford no longer has an open market anywhere. As you can see today, the entrance to the market is just ugly railings and rows of nondescript housing, leaving no trace of what was once the busiest shopping area in Salford. Look back to the early 1960s and see how the landscape has changed. This building in front of us is the Lions Ice Cream Factory, soon to be demolished, much to the dismay of local young people. This man who is smartly dressed is walking a Labrador, not a pit bull terrier. This chap is doing minor repairs to a Ford Anglia, a long forgotten make of car. This old lady carrying the flowers looks to me as if she stepped straight out of a Lowry painting. Her red beret, long black coat and booties. I wonder who she was. Here we see the market. A one-storied covered white building with the two main entrances on the far left and far right of the picture. In the background we can see the Albion High School, formerly known as Clarendon School, with the recently built high-rises dominating the Salford skyline. Back to Cross Lane and the junction with West High Street, with an Austin Wolsey turning onto the main thoroughfare. Interesting to note the advertising for such products as Martini and Mars bars. This elderly lady is wearing what would be typical Salfordian garb, complete with headscarf. Also possibly a two-tone American-style Vauxhall Cresta parked up on the high street. Notice the three ladies passing by all wearing identical outfits of headscarves, raincoats and handbags. Looking down Cross Lane towards Broad Street, this shot gives us our best view of what the area once looked like, with its huge wide open road. On the left we see the Red Rose pub, a popular wedding venue, a scene of hijinks in the 1950s, with it being one of the only pubs in Salford to have a music licence. This attracted coachloads of scousers in the 1950s, with fisticuffs aplenty to follow. Past the magnificent Art Deco clock tower, which was my personal favourite landmark in Salford, sadly a view not shared by the city planners. Behind it is the Butcher's pub and in the distance Thomas Bradford's engineering works. This road, as you can see, could fit 6 rows of cars abreast, like this Morris Minor or the Ford Cortina. Now look at Cross Lane. It's hard to believe that this is the same road, but I can assure you that it is. The road has been narrowed down to one lane and in part cycle lanes. Even the pavements look patched up and uneven. But it has to be said on balance that the trees do improve the look of the area. Now we can see the market in full flow with a car park of what would now be called collectors' classic cars. Back across from the market we see Lamb's Furniture Shop and a steady flow of shoppers. No tracksuit bottoms or onesies on show here. The infamous hot dog stall, a regular sight at the market. The hygiene left a lot to be desired, I recall. Wessler's hot dogs and burgers. Foul things and boiled onions in water, that strong sickly smell. The chap wearing the white coat doesn't fool me as being a sign of hygiene. Basically it's a pedal cycle with a canopy over it to protect the dubious foodstuffs from the elements. These two gentlemen have been purchasing books from the market. I recall it had a very popular second-hand bookstall. I spent many an hour there myself. Behind that is what I think is a Vauxhall Cresta with twin headlights. I'm sure someone will prove me wrong. This is Billy Connett's motorcycle shop on Cross Lane. Those scooters would be a collector's dream today. I love the crash helmets in the window display. Back to Cross Lane, and it is interesting to see the Asian gentleman, possibly a seaman harboured at the nearby Salford docks. You have to admit that child's pram isn't the most comfortable. These scenes show how busy Cross Lane was. Lots of shoppers and also the variety of shops. Hairdressers, chip shops, and of course Lamb's shop, which now has a new coat of paint. Just look at the scene today. No shops, very few people about. It's almost impossible to believe that this is the site of so many shops and pubs. Nothing at all is left. A school, St Paul's Church of England, is now on the site of the Lamb's shop. I often wonder what an old Salfordian who'd been away for many years would make of this site. Sad, but apparently it's called progress. Back to Cross Lane, and it's time for a visit by the local fair, usually Silcox's. As we can see, the showman's caravans are parked up next door to the Red Rose pub. Just look how busy Cross Lane is, mainly females doing their shopping. In the background we can see the fun fair in full swing. The fun fair was a huge attraction in Salford, visiting at Easter and Christmas. Lots and lots of young children are seen running around. Note the young boy aged about 5 with a very smart overcoat on. It's very posh for Salford. We see a young couple crossing the road on their way to the fun fair. Interesting to see the fashions of the day. She complete with a miniskirt while he has a natty quiff. And I see they narrowly avoid being run over by a Ford Cortina, showing how busy Cross Lane was. Droves of cars are seen leaving the market site. And notice how many cars are still parked up. An obvious clue as to how popular the market and fun fair was. The evening draws on and we take another look at the fun fair. I think it's great to see the young children holding onto the barriers watching the merry-go-round. And don't the fairground rides look old-fashioned with stagecoaches, motorcycles, open-top buses and motor cars all in miniature? I particularly like the fairground art above the ride. Very futuristic, showing rockets, submarines, speedboats. Finally, we take a last look up Cross Lane, and what a fantastic view it is. We see the Red Rose pub, a white Zephyr 6 car, the market clock tower, scaffolding around Spruce Court, the Fusiliers pub, busy shoppers, and no shot would be complete without showing one of our beloved green and yellow liveried Salford transport buses. It's the number 71 heading for Salford docks.